Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 8. You did it. You have done all these assignments in this advanced foundations of literacy. So, congratulations. I know that many of the assignments have been challenging, and you've really had to think at a higher level, that graduate level work. But I just want you to know how proud I am of you. And if I have you, if I have high expectations, it's just because I know that you can do the work. And I want us all to be the best teachers that we can be for Jesus Christ. So I think week 6 was probably one of the harder weeks. That's that literature review. And it was. That literature reviews are tough work. Last week I tried to not have as much to do. We just had a discussion post related to writing, and everyone did a video. And so this week is a culmination. This week is your last assignment. And the good news is you do not have any additional things to read. So this week we're wrapping it all together, wrapping everything up, and you're going to be writing a philosophy of literacy paper. Okay? Now, I have shortened what I originally have had in this class because you have demonstrated that you know how to do academic writing. And that's one of the goals of this class. You've done that. So I shortened the paper. So we're going to do a 4 to 5 page literacy philosophy. So it's not just a regular philosophy of education. We're really focusing on literacy. And I'm going to go over that with you. That's 4 to 5 pages plus the title page and the references. So it could be 6 to 8, right? With the title page and with the references. You also have to have 4 peer-reviewed articles. I think in the directions it says 8. I've asked IDT to correct that. They have not corrected it yet, but it's only 4. Okay, you do not have to have 8. Again, 4 references. That's it. Okay, so what will you write about in this paper? So I have some notes here. I'm going to kind of read my notes, and then as you're looking at me, and I'm just going to kind of read this, and we're going to talk about this. Okay, so today, or for this paper, I want you to think about your beliefs about teaching literacy. What do you believe students need to be successful readers? That's what this course is about. Some things to think about. What's your role as a teacher? How does research inform your instructional decisions? That's been very important. So really, kind of at the beginning, explain that. What's your beliefs about teaching? What do you believe students need to become successful readers? How does research inform your decisions? And then I also want part of this, the second part of the paper, and again, this is in the rubric too, you can look, is how do you connect these beliefs to the practice? And these are the things that we've learned in class. So how do you connect your beliefs to how you would work with diverse learners, how you would work with children in early childhood, how you would take those beliefs in teaching writing and technology and working with children in trauma? So that's going to be another part of your paper. And then the third part, another section of your paper is faith-based. So how is that integrated? And you don't have to necessarily have a separate section on faith integration, but faith integration should be integrated throughout the paper. So you could either do it throughout the paper, you could have it at the end. Either way, it's fine, as long as you include integration of faith. So how do your beliefs as a Christian influence how you teach, how you interact with students, and how you support students academically? Include scripture, right, if it's appropriate, and explain how these biblical principles connect to your instructional decisions and your relationships. So again, you need about 4 scholarly sources. Cite those sources in APA. Again, 4 to 5 pages, not including a title page and the reference list. You should also use APA. So as you think about the paper, if it were me writing it, I'd have like a little introduction, maybe a paragraph introduction. Again, at the beginning, you're going to talk about your beliefs about literacy. You're going to talk about your beliefs about how students are successful, your role as a teacher, how research informs your teaching, and then you're going to get into the practical side. So what does that look like? You're going to have faith integration, and then of course a conclusion, right? And so I'm hoping your literature review was a very academic paper. Your insights, reflection, and application was a very academic paper. This is an academic paper, but it's also more of a first person paper, right? It's okay if you say I believe or I, because this is your literacy beliefs. Okay, now, do I want you to support it? Yes, I do. But when you write, you have to think of the type of paper. And so a lot of our papers were much more academic. This is more personal, okay? It's your personal philosophy of literacy. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. I am now going to share my screen, and I'm going to just show you what you're going to be doing. Here we go. Can you guys hear the bird chirping? I see there's a big bird here in my house. Okay, so here we have module 8, and we are going to be applying scientifically based literacy instruction to formulate my philosophy of literacy. Okay, that's what and you're happy to know, nothing else you have to read this week, okay? So I want you to synthesize everything that you've learned in class, evaluate literacy research, justify your personal responses. So this is a higher level of thinking. I know that. There are no specific articles that you have to read. I did put some examples of videos of teachers explaining their philosophy. So you can do that. And there are some supplemental resources that you can use if you want. You don't have to, but they're there. Your main paper, as I said, is your philosophy of teaching. What makes an effective literacy teacher? Reflect on that. Make sure that you include faith integration. And again, you only have to have 4. I'm going to change that. It is not 8. It is 4 sources. I think 4 is plenty. 4 to 5 pages needs to be in APA. Okay. The other thing that you're going to do this week is you are going to share your philosophy of education in your discussion post. Okay. So you need to create a video. Sorry. A video. You could do a video. You could do a podcast. You could do a slide explanation. You could do an infographic. You could do a written summary. It's your choice. In this, I want you to explain those core beliefs, some ideas that have influenced you, and how your philosophy impacts your instructional decisions. Now, I know that the paper isn't due till Tuesday, and your original response discussion post is due Saturday. So as you think about the writing process, I would say by Saturday, you might want to have your rough draft of your paper written. And then you can use that rough draft as you write your discussion post. And that'll give you, a few days to get that final paper in on Tuesday. Now, I introduced all of you to Google LM Notebook. And I am fine if you want to use Google LM Notebook to do the video or the podcast. I'm fine with that. But when you use Google LM Notebook, you need to put in your own work. So like when I've used it in the past, I put in things that I have created. So PowerPoints that I have done, articles that I have written, okay? So I'm fine with you using those kind of tools because I'm going to be really looking at your responses to others. Of course, I'm going to look at your response that you create, but I'm fine with you using some kind of like a Google LM Notebook if you wanted to do that to create a podcast or to create a video. however you want to do that. So 2 different assignments this week. You have your discussion post, and that's where you're going to share your philosophy of being a literacy teacher. And then you have your philosophy of literacy paper. That's it. Those 2 assignments, no extra reading. I did want to, let me stop presenting here. Just a couple of other things to get into Module 8. You have to do the course evaluation. I would appreciate if you would do the course evaluations. Those are things that, we do look at. So those course evaluations are important. So if you could do those, I would appreciate it. I would love your feedback on how I can make the course better, or if I need to change anything. So please let me know that. I guess that's it. Enjoy this last module. I hope you just kind of reflect on who you are as a teacher, what kind of literacy teacher you want to be, and how your calling, how your being a Christian impacts your teaching. I remember talking to some of my undergrad students, and we were talking about our philosophies and what makes an effective teacher. And one thing I told him is, I said, sometimes we have teachers that are really nice and they're sweet and they're kind, and that's good. You should be all of those things. And then we also have teachers that are just very effective, and they're innovative, and they provide feedback, and they provide scaffolding and teaching. They're effective teachers. But I told them, I said, what our kids need is both. They need kind, caring Christian teachers that are also extremely effective and good at what they do, right? And so I guess I'm kind of sharing my philosophy of literacy teacher. That's a lot of what I believe. So I hope you will enjoy reflecting this week, and I look forward to hearing your personal philosophy and seeing some of these discussion posts. Have a wonderful day.